I'm Jim O'Neill. I'm the chairman of Goldman Sachs Asset Management, and I coined both the BRIC and N11 acronyms. As part of a follow-up paper about the BRICS, we also included a section on looking at countries that had large populations but were not big enough to be BRICS, and we identified 11. South Korea, Indonesia, Mexico, Turkey. Interestingly, from Africa, there's Nigeria and Egypt. Highly controversially, in many people's minds, is Iran. And then the rest are from Asia. You've got Vietnam, Bangladesh, the Philippines and Pakistan. And if you're simply choosing a criteria such as population, you end up with a great diversity on other factors, in particular including the level of development and wealth. The diversity is actually a bit of an attraction. So at one end you've got Korea and Mexico, which arguably are developed type countries, and at the other extreme you've got the likes of Pakistan and Bangladesh, which are anything but. One of the criteria for investors when looking at a basket of countries is that they're not highly correlated. The N11 scores pretty well on that topic. It's slightly scary how close it has been to what we did actually assume so far. And if there's been any surprise, is that it's all happening quicker for both the BRIC and some of the next 11 countries than we thought could have been the case. For a lot of these countries, they've hardly noticed that the global credit crisis happened. When you look at the likely changes in global GDP this decade, 8 of the 10 most important national countries changing global GDP this decade are from what would be called traditionally the emerging world. I think the world economy is being turned upside down by all of these 15 countries, the 4 BRICS and the 11 in the next 11. And if you look at the activities of many global multinationals, which are expanding around the world, these are the places where all the action's going on. Economic growth, including consumer spending, is really being driven by consumption activities in many of these countries. As they get wealthier and the middle classes grow, what you tend to start seeing is a very quite predictable pattern in which the desire for consumer durables starts to rise dramatically. So autos, television sets, refrigerators, all these things become highly attractive by the masses, particularly in those developing economies where urbanization is a key theme. Because when you can see somebody living next door that's got something that you want, that's quite typical of the consumer habits that you see in countries as they develop. And then at the higher level, of course, is what you might regard as the whole luxury segment too. And you see the evidence of where these guys are growing and where their customers are coming from. You know, like anything in economic and investment life, of course, there's plenty of risks. These are not forecasts, they are assumptions. If you invest too much in any one of these next 11 countries, particularly the smaller ones, you have to realise that they're going to be quite illiquid. The diversity, in my judgment, makes it unlikely that they'll all be having crisis at the same time. If I look at the analysis we've done of the BRIC countries and the next 11, those 15 countries together are going to generate additional global consumption this decade of between 10 and 20 trillion dollars, an increase more than the current level of consumption in the US. And that's what the world is all about this decade.